I'm not here to jump on the bandwagon, I'm not here to spread gossip, and I'm certainly not here to pick... Okay guys, so I'm not here to throw shade, I'm not here to jump on the bandwagon, I'm not here to spread gossip, and I'm certainly not here to pick sides or to make anyone feel bad. I have compiled all of the information I can from the night in question, which was Adam22's birthday party. More specifically, the ride to the after party, post-strip club night. Okay, I feel like I'm pretty decent at extracting factual information from opinion, as well as, to some extent at least, deductive reasoning, as far as kind of finding the middle ground amidst any he said, she said, I said, we said business. Okay, so the headliner for this story, factually, is basically that there was a small altercation in the vehicle that several girls were riding in, along with Tana Mongeau, Daddie Juju, and Snow the Product. If you are unfamiliar, Snow the Product, aka Claudia Alexandria Madriz Meza, is a Mexican-American female rapper, and I personally know her to be excellent at rhyming, rhythm, word choice, her own brand of confidence that might be called grandiose if she weren't so goddamn down to earth and real about shit. She knows how to be humble, and she also won't be backed into a corner. I have done some research on Juju, aka Julissa Aponte, forgive me if I bombed pronunciation, who is a model and Instagram/TikTok content creator, and has recently shown that she can rap too, with Snow the Product claiming in jest that she had, quote, turned her girlfriend into a rapper overnight. Daddie Juju was recently featured rapping on Snow the Product's video On My Way, and showcased her talent in that regard. Quadruple threat, multi-potentialite. What else have you got up your sleeve, Juju? We shall see in due time. The story goes that there were a few interactions throughout the evening, with Tana Mongeau approaching Snow and saying how articulate she thought she was, having watched one of her interviews, and essentially kind of fangirling over her. I think that I have kind of rooted out the exaggerations in clickbait. Tana, ever the sensationalist, but hey, she gets hers, and we all keep watching. There are rumors that they were, quote, turned up that evening, especially Juju and Snow. However, it has been confirmed that Juju, quite out of tune with all her usual all-outness and extroversion, really wasn't feeling going out that night. She always dresses to the nines, as we've learned from several sources as well as her Instagram account, as does her girl Snow. And Snow more or less kind of had to drag her, figuratively, out of the house. And she kind of went for a hoodie and wasn't feeling super social. Girl, I get you. We all have those days. Speculators as to the level of alcohol consumption on the part of Snow and Juju, at least, have stood corrected, as they were tipping back the bubbly as opposed to liquor, and champagne drunk is often the more graceful of the two when compared to liquor. Tana has tried to make it sound like Snow was hitting on her, which, if we look at all of the other sources on this subject and sort of use our people patterns, human nature personality theory guide as a reference, we know that not only does Tana tend to tell stories in outrageous ways that are entertaining and fun, but also ways that appeal to her ego and her image, and no doubt maybe the way that she sees things, genuinely. She's sexy and she knows it. However, Snow and Juju aren't known to be super all over females, or males for that matter, just to clarify. Definitely not so much fans of the males on the party scene. They also aren't known to be super insecure about things like receiving, as well as handing out little ego boosts and bounce steps for other women. Like any wise female partygoers avoiding a whole other element of trouble, they opted out of going with the guys and got in the car for the after party with Tana and the other females. Tana was there with her dude, apparently, and well aware of undercurrents of racial bias and people's ability to get more offended because of their self-proclaimed superiority, and realizing that she had sat in Homeboy's seat, Snow kind of put it on for both Tana's man as well as Tana. She also, likely, like any of us would, appreciated the attention that she was getting from Tana, who was also very famous. And though we don't really see Snow or Juju getting starstruck, and that even being less of a possibility considering they didn't know Tana's profession and thought she was probably a porn star, Snow most certainly appears to, whilst also being gracious, be using that mouthpiece and her gift of gab, chatting it up with who she thought at the moment was a porn star, or perhaps had realized was a YouTuber, and reveling in the glory of a fun night out. Juju and Snow don't really seem to have a track record of jealousy issues, more than any couple. In fact, they seem to be pretty solid. their security with each other. Both women are fond of tension within reasonable bounds from other women and have a propensity for dishing it out, both tactfully and in an uplifting, lightheartedly flirtatious way, at most, without crossing bounds, and seem to have a pretty solid understanding where they're at with each other. They are both said to have been receiving lap dances from dancers that night, and are known not to be shy about expressing their appreciation for the feminine mystique as well as the feminine physique, if you know what I mean, both as individuals as well as a couple's activity or game of observation. It has also been rumored that they were drunk, like I said, on liquor that night, but like I said, they were drinking champagne. Tina is known to get lit at all hours of the day, and I don't even say that to be critical. It's part of her whole thing she has going, and is likely a big lubricant or catalyst for her fluidity of self-expression, we'll call it. These are three outspoken women kind of vibing with each other. However, Tina, it seems, took her fangirling a little bit too far. She is reported to have gotten a little bit touchy, which resulted in Juju swiftly grabbing her up by her weave and putting her in her place. She sounds like she was already feeling kind of tested that night, and it was perhaps somewhat unwise for Tina to be acting the way she was acting. However, we do have to acknowledge, along with Juju saying so herself, that in hindsight there might have been a different way of handling this, or doing some kind of self-regulating or group dynamic intervention earlier in the evening. However, this is easy to say, as people completely removed from the situation and also analyzing it after the fact. I imagine that most of you have had a situation in which you might have handled yourself better had you known ahead of time exactly what was going to happen, or had you any predisposition to a certain behavior. But this is unprecedented behavior, and isn't something that we see patterned in the history of Juju's relationship, let alone her relationship with Snow. The fact of it is that only they truly know the dynamics of their relationship, but they have recently been posting some pretty true-to-character, authentic content on their new YouTube channel, which is edited by Snow the Product's brother, and very well, might I add, with hilarious cut-ins and bright, minimalistic elements and background to keep the attention on the message, as well as the messengers, which we love. We can see from their on-stage interactions that they really are great for each other. I'm sure Snow, deep down, is glad to know that her girl has her back in this manner, too, and won't just let some girl behave out of pocket, and that she has a girl that is understanding of her social style and isn't faulting her for her part in the interaction, which they were both witness to, and probably wouldn't be reacting as harmoniously with regards to if Tana Mongeau's particular version of events held any real weight. She doesn't seem afraid to speak her mind and demand respect. Neither of them are. Kind of goes with the territory as well. Snow has made a point, which I agree with and can also relate to, and as a general rule of thumb, I believe this kind of thinking has kept me out of a lot of cattiness. Basically, she said in her own words that letting the ladies know that you're a ladies' lady tends to prevent a lot of don't go after my dude cat fights and overall passive aggressiveness. Or flat-out aggressiveness. It is, I have found, very disarming and even comforting to many women to know that they're not dealing with a competitor or a threat of any kind. From the perspective of the biological imperative, when people kind of take that out of the question and just exist together, it's a lot more harmonious in general. Something that Snow says is that she'll get really awkward and somewhat quiet or less armored in her unpierceable confidence and game when she really likes someone. This seemed like a pretty honest statement to me and was brave of her to share. I can agree that I get the same way. I believe that it is easy to be super cocky when you're not overly concerned with the outcome of the situation and really just messing around. I think this is easily how things could have gotten with Tana. I mean, the latter. I should really clarify that. So, her being super cocky, basically. She was probably just kind of going with the flow, going back and forth, keeping the compliments flowing and the charisma apparent with Tana, as opposed to blatantly hitting on her like Tana suggested. Tana is known to view the world through a Tana lens, and I can imagine that she's hot and she knows it, and perhaps doesn't always have the best boundaries. Assuming, in a sense, that everyone wants her, because most people, I'm sure in her experience, do and have wanted her. It is apparent that she did something out of line, or was leaning in and touching Snow too much, because something really seemed to irk Juju, who really, like I said, is laid back, gamine in nature, self-validating, and not the jealous type, as far as I can tell from my sources, as well as my independent sleuthing and research. Some people have made the argument that since Snow has skyrocketed quite a bit to fame in recent years and is naturally talented, and since Juju is often listed as Snow's girlfriend, at least in articles directed at Snow the product fans, that she would have some type of complex about having a famous partner. However, this is not the case. Far from it, indeed. Juju has had her own following for quite some time now, and the girls have a lot in common when it comes to swagger, game, and talent. But they are also both very different and shine in different areas, equally iconoclastic in their own ways. This is why this is considered out of character for Juju, and we know from different girls that were in the vehicle that it was really Tana who was getting a little too aggressive and thirsty, even though she would never admit it. In trying to keep from a mass of preteen Tana superfans attacking her, and in trying to keep from being viewed, we imagine, as too easily influenced by her significant other to the point where she could condone grabbing up some chick by her weave publicly in the face of cancel culture, and trying to maintain and keep her cool overall, Snow posted her own response to this on YouTube, and though it is entitled Snow Makes Her Girlfriend Apologize, Juju shows that she won't be made to do anything, not even by her boo. However, she also shows that she has a soft spot for Snow, and in the end gives a genuine apology for her behavior. One has to feel for her, as she was placed in a funny situation, likely wanting Snow to back her up, but also not wanting to cause problems for Snow while she was really just trying to network, and somebody got out of line. Neither of them wanting to be involved in petty bullshit like fan battling, they did what they needed to do to clear the air after Tana's crazy, drawn-out explanation of the event, and to keep things kind of Switzerland, kind of neutral. Their relationship seems to be solid as fuck. However, now perhaps more than ever that is evident, because if there were any cracks in the foundation, so to speak, you can almost guarantee that Juju would be misconstruing Snow's diplomatic response as either keeping her options open, not having her girl's back, standing out for the wrong side, and keeping her girl in a place where she is meant to feel insecure, as well as watching her own PR situation before showing that she has her girl's back. Mixed up priorities, basically, is what that would mean. However, we don't see anything of that sort. It was wise to not start a war with Tana's fan base, and it was duly noted that she stated exactly why this apology needed to happen, and her pretty honest thought processes throughout the night, as well as the fact that they were both working on being more, quote, Caucasian. It doesn't seem like she is too eager to kiss Tana's ass either, as she is sure to point out that Tana put her own number in Snow's phone, that she thought she was a porn star, that Tana was the one fangirling over her, which is factual, and that Juju and Snow both are working on their impulses to use instruments of physical communication, and attempting to use words instead. She makes reference to, quote, like I said, trying to be more Caucasian, as well as a bunch of 13-year-olds being after her, also in quotes. I think we can see exactly where she stands in her relationship. They're solid. They're both strong women. Tana's just kind of a sort of humorous blip in things. And we know that Tana, as well as her weave, are just fine, and will live to make many more long, drawn-out, half-honest, albeit entertaining videos. She will likely continue to be liquor-addled, controversial, hilarious, and ever